Hi, welcome back to Finally Revealed. In this episode, I want to talk about something a little bit serious, and not that everything else isn't serious, but it involves taking a family member, loved one, to a care facility, and specifically a loved one who has a dementia condition, no matter how it came about, whether there was a brain injury or chemotherapy or age or family history. Some things that you should think about that are not really publicized or talked about, and that is dealing with the person who is going to be moved. It's difficult to make a decision to move someone, particularly if you've been caring for them or living in the same household. It's a difficult decision and realization when they would be better cared for by professionals, whether you have young children and it's an aging parent, or it's a spouse situation and the demands of work, and frankly, the deteriorating condition of your loved one and the behavioral changes and limitations that they face as they are deteriorating. And whether it's Alzheimer's or any other type of dementia, hopefully they have a doctor that you have seen and understand the progression and how it goes into thirds and what the different symptoms are as they're getting further along, and knowing that it is an irreparable situation, that they're not going to get better. So, you may have temper issues, you may have you're exhausted, the demands are stacking up, both physical demands of your time and restrictions on your time, and the extra things that you have to do, whether they have to be fed, clothed, bathed, those types of things, and depending upon the size of your household. So you've come to this realization that they need to be moved to professional care outside of where you're all living now. And I want to address a few suggestions on when you make that transition. You will hopefully explore the financial situation that works best for your family and best for this loved one based upon their resources, and hopefully their resources will cover these costs. Otherwise, you can have family chip in. There may be Medicare issues, or if you're in another country, there may be, whatever your social services provides for their care. But in the mix of all of this, on making the decision, yes, this person has a reduced mental capacity, but they're still a human being. And so here are some things to think about and to coordinate as you're planning this move. Some of the caregivers will take a complete history on what this person was like, what their likes and dislikes, food and other activities. Remember, the person affected, their mental capacity is diminished. Their short-term memory by this point is probably non-existent, and it may take a while for them to tune in on who the person is, if they still recognize them. They may or may not have verbal abilities and other types of understanding. So planning when to move them should include, obviously, the financial considerations and the space and the right place. You want to find the right place and the care that you want for this person, and arrange for how close it is to your home and things like that, and there may be waiting lists. But it may help you to do it a little bit earlier so that the person affected understands where they're going a little bit. You may want to keep them in your care in your house as long as you can because you love them dearly, but it may be better for them if they're moved before you get to the absolute end where you can't do it anymore and their communication has nearly stopped. And here's why. You put them into a new place. You may have had a nurse or family working with this person, your loved one, for a long period of time, and you have inevitably a routine. They're in familiar surroundings, they know what to expect when, and they have some acting out issues often, these people, as they start with delusions, or they're fearful, or they may come and attack somebody. There's all kinds of things, or they may wander off. So if they can understand what's happening and where they're going, it might make the transition for them smoother. If that's not possible, is there a caregiver that has been coming to where you are to help care for this person that can help them transition to the new place? I know a friend who they talked about removing the queen from her throne. Her mother was in her house, had lived there for a long time, was on her own, but was really deteriorating and would not agree to go voluntarily, but she clearly needed help. She needed help housekeeping. No one was in the area to move in with her. So what they did was a little bit sneaky, but she was diminished upstairs. They made the arrangements for a very nice place, and one of the sisters actually they took her out for the weekend to someone else's house, and they moved every single thing in her house so that when they took her to the place, it was her house. For all intents and purposes, her TV guide was in the same place, the book she was reading in the same place, her favorite water glass was in the same place, her Afghan on her couch, everything was just picked up and moved. And I've heard of that happening a couple of times. If the person is moving to a more restrictive environment and needs, day-to-day care, meet those people who are going to be undressing them to bathe them. No one wants a stranger walking up and starting to take off your clothes. Think about these types of things. If they've only been with a couple of people for an expanded period of time and now someone new is coming in, think about who is going to be doing that. Can your care person transition with them? And some of them will. If you can make arrangements for them to come, every day for a little while and help the person, either pay them separately or, get some type of arrangement with the center. Often these caregivers also will have friends that already work at these different centers. So if you have to transition from maybe a retirement community and they're on their own into a memory or other care facility, see if those caregivers that are going to help them can come over before they move, just to try to smooth the transition. Obviously, their clothing, what are the things that they like to wear, they're most comfortable in, their grooming, make sure the place knows what those types of grooming needs are. The idea is focus it not so much on a financial situation or your guilt or stress in moving them out, but let's look at this person. And these are just not things talked about. Some places will say it's better for us to maintain or get control over the person if you don't have any contact for a while. Well, that is akin to maybe taking a child to daycare or a babysitter and not having them cry for mommy. In this diminished capacity state, they're very similar to a young child. And so we want to have people treated with respect, and they're our loved ones, and we want them cared for, but we also want them safe. So hopefully a couple of these ideas will resonate with you in your situation when you come to it, and you'll think about that person going in. It's not unreasonable for someone to put up a fight or a fuss if some stranger is coming in to help them in the bathroom, or help them with the shower, or 3 or 4 different people during the day, and they're already confused and don't even know where they are. So we want to try to make it a little bit easier. It will help the family as you're making this transition, and it will help your loved one adjust faster. It's a sad situation all around, and we just want to try to make it the best that we can. So I hope this was helpful. Please give me a thumbs up if it was. Leave any comments on any situation that you have, because we've looked around for different things on this, and there's really not a lot of guidance or help. And people are so helpless. The money part and finding a place is already so overwhelming that these other issues just kind of get lost. So please share. It's really helpful for us to help each other. Subscribe to see our other videos and come back and see me next time. Thanks for watching.